To run through caucus for our council meeting today, January 26, 2026. We have 10 motions that we will be reviewing today. There are 14 first readings, and we have 5 first reading passage requests. And so at this time, we'll look at 2026-011, and we'll have Heidi Swindell to address council.
Thank you, Heidi Swindell, Summit County Engineer's Office. This is our SALT encumbrance for the year. It turns out we used up all of last year's encumbrance in December. It's been pretty rough out there. So we want to be able to get this encumbrance going, get the orders in. So they're having a little trouble with deliveries, getting the salt out, but we're okay through this storm, but we need to get some deliveries pretty soon.
Okay, thank you, Heidi. Any questions for Heidi regarding this legislation? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Next, we have 2026-012. Tommy Smoot will address council.
Good evening, Tommy Smoot, Executives Department of Public Safety. We would like to move forward with a vision for night vision goggles. The lowest bidder was Steel Industries at $69,000. This will provide 8 scopes for Alliance SWAT and then 9 for Canton SWAT. This will actually be funded from the FY24 State Homeland Security Grant Program, and we are the regional fiscal agent for FY24.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions for members of council? No questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next, we'll look at 2026-013, and Brian Harnack will address council.
Thanks, Council. Brian Harnack, Director for the Law Department for the Executive's Office. This is a follow-up to our discussion in executive session last time regarding a claim arising out of the juvenile court. This is to settle the lawsuit arising out of that in the amount of $115,000. In this case, the main plaintiff is a minor. We have already received approval from the probate court to settle this case in this amount. It'll be placed in trust for that individual, and we believe that this is a fair settlement on both sides. So we're asking for first reading passage today.
Great, thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. No questions at this time on that. Now we're on to 2026-014, and Phil Montgomery will address council.
Thank you. We have before council legislation that we bring in every January. This is what we call the carryover rollover legislation. So this is separate from the appropriation adjustments we bring every council meeting. But you'll see there are 2 exhibits attached to this one. One is for we've talked about over the last couple of years, life to date versus annual funds. We're still trying to wind down the life to date funds. And so we'll see them separately until those are all gone. But instead of going through every single account that's on here, these items have been previously approved by council, but we bring them back every January to reappropriate them. So everything on these 2 exhibits either has cash in the bank already or has a grant associated with it that will draw funds down on. So these are the things that exist outside of the normal annual operating budget. Again, can carry over from last year. Council appropriated them last year. We're asking you to reappropriate them this year. These include on the life to date, the biggest numbers on here you're gonna see are from community and economic development, as well as public safety grants. So TCAP is over $10 million of the $44 million that's on that schedule. On the life to date, you'll see $127 million on that one. 63 million of that's the opioid fund to reappropriate. So the numbers look big, but they're ones that we bring to council every year. On the it is various capital projects as well. So the Howe building's under construction. We've got appropriations out there for that. That's to the tune of $12 million. So that's included in these numbers. So with that, in total, it is $171,529,851.94, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Phil. Any questions from members of council? Seeing none, okay. And then next we'll hear about 2026-015.
Again, Phil Montgomery from the Executive's Office. This is the appropriation legislation that we bring to every council meeting. So on this one, starting with page 1, we're asking for appropriation for us to the first item on here is the transfer of consumer affairs funding. So as part of our foreclosure fund, we still collect some dollars that can be used for consumer affairs activities. So we have to transfer it out of that foreclosure fund into the consumer affairs fund. The next one is appropriation for the SORT team. Again, we act as the facilitator of that in our emergency management agency. On page 2, we are looking to appropriate funds for the Public Safety Department for the dispatch building as part of the overhead costs so with the dispatch facility, the county pays the kind of shared space costs, and then we charge the members of that back as part of that. So we just need to add a little bit of appropriation there, but that will get billed back. The next one on here is the community-based correctional facility. This is a grant award from the Attorney General's office. On page 3, we're asking for funds for the Department of Development. This is to appropriate funds as part of the First Energy Grant for the 2025 year. The bottom item on there is to appropriate the sheriff's DARE budget for their grant award for this cycle. On page 4, we are appropriating funds for some funds the sheriff's department received for canine functions. We have the CPT pilot program for the sheriff's office, as well as the DUI enforcement program. On the last page, we're asking for another grant for the sheriff for the juvenile division grant award. And then the last item on here is one of those life to date to annual fund cash transfers of $400 for a total appropriation of $1.2 million. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Councilwoman McKinney.
Just, can you remind me what CPT stands for the pilot
I cannot.
program?
Bill, what is that?
Hello, Bill Holland from the Sheriff's Office. CPT are the courses that the Ohio Peace Officer Training Commission comes out with every year that requires law enforcement agencies to train on, kind of like your continuing education credits. There's usually a block of ones that they require, and then you have a block that you can choose yourself. And then for whatever hours that you can show that you've trained your officers or deputies on that, you get a reimbursement for their time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. All right, this evening we have 3 late filings. The first one is 2026-022, and Marvin Evans will address council.
Good afternoon, Marvin Evans for the Department of Law and Risk Management under Eileen Shapiro. So this contract for the sheriff's deputies, we spent several months negotiating it. Sheriff Fatherly and her office was actively involved with this. Phil was actively involved with it. And so we think we came to a good agreement where we got some things, they got some things, and the overall increases that are at issue here and are shown in the legislation is basically this year they get 4%, next year 3.5%, the following year 3%. Any questions? Thank you.
If I could just add, just to give council a heads up, we will be in next cycle's appropriation legislation, we'll be bringing in appropriation increases for this year to account for that 4%, because what was in the operating budget was 2.5%. So we will have to adjust appropriation to accommodate for this schedule with the FOP.
Thank you, Phil. We also have 2026-023, which is a late filing. And then 2026-024, Phelan Thurn will address council. Is Phelan here? Oh, Tommy Smoot. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Tommy.
Good evening again. Tommy Smoot, Executive Department of Public Safety. This is, I'd like to move forward with a bid for, they're going to be SWAT robots. It'll be for Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, and the Mahoning Valley Crisis Response Team. They're mini calibers from iCore Technologies. And they'll be providing these under the FY24 State Homeland Security Grant. And like I said, we're the regional fiscal agent for 24, and we'd like to really expedite this process because it takes a little bit of time to order those, and we'll get to wrap this up fairly certain, so with the grant performance period. So.
Great, thank you, Tommy. Any questions for Tommy? Councilman Cajun.
What does the robot do?
It can climb steps. It can go in and stand in as an officer, would do things like that. So it's kind of like a smaller version of like a bomb robot. So it just do any kind of throw it through a window or things you see in the movie. I guess you get.
Okay, so
Those kind of things.
it has cameras, microphones.
Yes.
It can deliver commands.
Yep.
Does it have any tactical capabilities?
I can pass around the. I have the spec sheet here. If you'd like to take a look at that, I could send that over. But
I guess I'm just curious. What do we use it for?
for any kind of a standoff situation, or it's something that you don't necessarily want to send an officer in, it could have a microphone on it. It could, take in maybe a hostage phone, negotiation phone, something like that.
Okay.
So just take the place of an officer kind of going in to increase officer safety, really.
Excuse me, if I may interject, I'm pretty sure that's citizens on duty idea.
Ma'am, you're not at this time. There will be an opportunity for public comment.
Well, I'm just waiting because he doesn't
Ta-
want me
no.
to comment on you guys. He's running the infantry.
Ma'am, please, ma'am, this is not the time. We will go ahead. You have opportunity for public.
4:15, so they said if I didn't make
Well-
I wouldn't have a chance to speak. So I'm
Uh,
executive
no.
director of Citizens on Duty, and that's my
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to stop at this time. Yes, I'm,
You know why? Because you're being federally audited right now. You know why? Because I'm whistleblower.
ma'am,
Tip the $8 million freaking federal grant. Anybody want to talk about that?
We're going to have to ask you to leave if you can't wait until the public comment period.
Oh, okay, I'm just making sure that I got my chance to speak, since I wasn't here by 4:15, when the meeting started at 4:30.
Are you finished? Thank you.
okay. Thank you very much, Tommy.
Sure, yeah.
At this time, I will turn the agenda back over to Council President Aaron Dickinson.
All right, so we have routine legislation today found on pages 6 through 8. There are no second readings, no third readings. Now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Liz Walters. Followed by a moment of silence.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody. Glad everybody's on the same page. Boom. My plans now, or we all going to talk about it like it ain't
Ma'am,
Can we get her removed, please?
yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Thank you. Ryan.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave, but I'm also gonna give you the blueprint of what he was discussing before I do. I'm gonna give it to the one I emailed it to right here, the sheriff, and the mayor, and the governor, who stole my idea. Wait, I'm gonna get my paper, don't put your hands on me. I know that. I did was ask to leave, but it's a public place. No, I'm gonna leave a piece of paper that discloses my infrastructure, my whistleblowing, my federal audit. Yeah, you're gonna lose your job too. Watch, think I'm playing. Call me crazy, whatever you guys wanna do. Mr. Thomas wasn't up there really discussing how he was gonna infiltrate my blueprint. Or basically replace the cops that are already doing their job. Weirdo.
You can be arrested right now for
Yeah, so can
disrupting
you.
a public meeting, okay?
I am the
So really
public.
need to be
I'm the
quiet.
community.
Right, you're not. Come on.
Okay, don't put your hands on me. Okay, let me get my drink. Let me get my drink. Okay, bet.
Okay, we're going to proceed. Yes.
You call it. You gotta call it for me.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Hyam?
Here.
Mr. Donofrio?
Here.
Mr. Cajun? Ms. Dickinson?
Here.
Mr. Ford? Mr. Wilhite? Ms. Darrow?
Here.
Mr. Lacotte?
Here.
Ms. McKinney?
Here.
Ms. Walters?
Here.
Do we have a motion to approve last week's minutes, or 2 weeks ago? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motions for council. M4, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Council President Aaron Dickinson, replacing Councilwoman Rita Darrow, with Councilwoman Christine Hyam as alternate to the Akron Summit Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Trustees.
Motion by Councilwoman Walters. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M5, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Council President Aaron Dickinson, replacing Councilwoman Rita Darrow, to the Summit County Audit Committee.
So,
Motion by Councilman Wilhite. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
M6, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Council President Aaron Dickinson, replacing Councilwoman Rita Darrow, with Councilman David Lacotte as alternate, replacing Councilwoman Aaron Dickinson as alternate to the Criminal Justice Advisory Board.
Motion by Councilwoman Hyam. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M7, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Council President Aaron Dickinson, replacing Councilwoman Rita Darrow, with Councilman John Donofrio and Mark Potter as alternates to the County Information Technology Board.
Motion by Councilwoman Hyam. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M8, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Council President Aaron Dickinson, replacing Councilwoman Rita Darrow, with Mark Potter as alternate to the Investment Advisory Board.
Motion by Councilman Schmidt. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M9, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Council President Aaron Dickinson, replacing Councilwoman Rita Darrow, with alternates Mark Potter and Monique Willis to the Records Commission.
Motion by Councilman Lacotte. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M10, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Council President Aaron Dickinson, replacing Councilwoman Rita Darrow, with Mark Potter as alternate to the Tax Incentives Review Council.
Motion by Councilwoman Hyam. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M11, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Wendy Rickard, replacing Karen France, with Stephanie Kempton as first alternate and Dr. Anita Tamarisa as second alternate to the Child Fatality Review Board.
Motion by Councilwoman Walters. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
M12, 2026, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Captain Mike Brooks, replacing Captain Dan Garrett as alternate to District Chief Chris Karakis to the Child Fatality Review Board.
Motion by Councilman Ford. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
M13, 2026, a motion of council establishing the standing committees of the Council of the County of Summit for the year 2026.
Motion by Councilman Schmidt. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
First readings, 2026-11, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Cargill Incorporated at Ohio Department of Transportation Cooperative Purchasing Pricing for road salt for the 2026 snow and ice control season in an amount not to exceed $524,000 for the engineer emergency. That's okay.
We have a first reading passage on 2026-011. All those in favor of suspending the rules?
We need motions.
That's okay.
No. On the so we have a motion to suspend. Right. All those in favor?
You're doing it right.
Aye. Any opposed? And on the adoption? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
2026-12, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Steel Industries Incorporated for 2 night vision projects for various special operations teams in Ohio Homeland Security Region 5 for an amount not to exceed $69,197.50 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety, Emergency Management Agency, Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2026-012.
On the motion to suspend, all those in favor? Any opposed? And on the adoption? Any opposed? Motion carries.
2026-13, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a settlement agreement and release in an amount not to exceed $115,000 to settle any and all claims arising out of or concerning issues raised in the lawsuit WHA Minor and AH Guardian of WH versus Antoine Cheatham and others for the executive and the Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Division, Emergency.
2026-013.
On the suspension, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And on the adoption, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
2026-14, a resolution appropriating carryover balances for various operating and capital funds for 2026 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget, Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2026-014.
The motion to suspend. On the motion to suspend, all those in favor? Any opposed? And on the adoption, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
2026-15, a resolution appropriating funds in order to meet projected expenditures for the balance of 2026 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget, Emergency.
Madam President, move to suspend the rules and adopt 2026-015.
On the motion to suspend, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
2026-16, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Fratellis Financial Consultants Incorporated to perform a cost of service study of the county sanitary sewer rates for an amount not to exceed $88,200 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services, Emergency. 2026-17, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute any documents necessary to accept the award of the opioid remediation grant from the Ohio Attorney General in the amount of $134,240 with no local cash match and awarding a professional service contract to Orient House Incorporated as a best practical source for opioid remediation services for a 1-year term in an amount not to exceed $134,240 for the executive and sheriff, emergency. 2026-18, a resolution resolution authorizing the prosecutor or his designee to initiate through the State of Ohio's County Financial Information System the acceptance by the prosecutor's Child Support Enforcement Agency of inter-county transfers of surplus funds from other Ohio counties and to release surplus County of Summit funds to other Ohio counties in exchange for those accepted funds for a 2-year period from January 1, 26 through December 31, 27, provided that the collective funds released in a given calendar year do not exceed the collective funds accepted in that calendar year for the prosecutor. Emergency. 2026-19, an ordinance amending Section 113.12 of the Codified Ordinances of the County of Summit entitled Engineer and Planning and GIS Division map fees to make certain updates and revisions to the fee schedule for the Executive's Departments of Law and Risk Management and Community and Economic Development GIS Division. Emergency. 2026-20, a resolution approving the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with the Computer Solution Company of Virginia Limited Liability Company doing business as Forensic Advantage Systems as a sole source for maintenance of Forensic Advantage software for a 5-year term for the period of February 1, 26 to January 31, 31, and in an amount not to exceed $124,702.22 for the Office of Information Technology. Emergency. 2026-21, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute grant agreements with various Summit County nonprofit organizations and state-mandated entities for the year 2026 in a total amount not to exceed $828,900 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget. Emergency.
We have a motion to amend the agenda to include the late filings. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
2026-22, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a collective bargaining agreement between the Fraternal Order of Police, Ohio Labor Council Incorporated Deputy Unit, and the County of Summit for the period of January 1, 26 through December 31, 28 for the executive and the sheriff. Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2026-022.
Motion to suspend the rules and adopt, motion to suspend 2026-022. All those in favor? Any opposed? And on the adoption, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
2026-23, a resolution authorizing the executive to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation and to appropriate funds for the construction costs for the relocation of the sanitary sewer line due to the bridge deck replacement on State Route 91 located in the city of Monroe Falls in Council District 3 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services. Emergency. 2026-24, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with I-Core Technology Incorporated for 3 tactical robots for various special operations teams in Ohio Homeland Security Region 5 for an amount not to exceed $179,885.88 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety Emergency Management Agency. Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2026-024.
On the suspension, all those in favor? Any opposed? And on the adoption, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt the routine agenda found on pages 6 through 8.
Motion to adopt the routine legislation. All those in favor? Aye.
Suspend the rules and adopt.
To suspend the rules and adopt. Sorry, we'll try that again. We have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 6 through 8. All those in favor?
Suspension.
Any opposed?
Suspension.
On the suspension. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
There we go.
Motion carries. Well, I think we're going to have public comment before the executive session. Okay, no, you're fine. Before we go into executive session, we have some members of the public to address council this evening. Remember, you have 3 minutes, and we will need you to state your name and address for the record, please. Reverend John Beatty.
Members of the council, I come before you because of my concern for the Palestinians, not only in Gaza, but in the West Bank. I have studied a lot. Last night, my wife and I saw a rerun of President best president I know of. Thank you. Thank you. It was a rerun of the president who recently died during the before the inaugural of the president administration of the U.S. And he wrote a book about the decisions that Israel had to make between liberation and inclusion of the Palestinians, or a racist government that was heading towards genocide. We see that acting out now in Gaza, and ethnic cleansing and the destruction of Palestinians' ancient homes that has been there for thousands of years. And I just appeal for a non-renewal of the Israeli bonds because it is supporting genocide and ethnic cleansing in Israel, Palestine. I pray for both of my brothers and sisters who are Jewish, and I pray for the Palestinians. And I ask for your support for non-renewal of Israeli bonds. It's going to support genocide and ethnic cleansing. Thank you very much for this privilege of addressing you. Thank you.
Thank you. Reverend Dr. Joyce Penfield.
Good evening, Council. I live at 247 Portage Lakes Drive in Coventry Township. It's an honor to be able to address you. I come before you also as a founder of Peace Builders Academy, an attempt to locally try to create some of the traditions of Martin Luther King and some of the traditions of our church founders that believed in nonviolence and justice making as a road to peace. I'm here to urge you to do the correct thing, as you've promised, and to not reinvest in 1.5 million Israeli bonds. It is, people before me have argued that it is a bad economic venture to begin with, but on a moral level, it is an extremely wrong thing to do on the side of history. 2 years ago, I was here, and or in the other location. I had just come back from a delegation by Christian Palestinians in Palestine that took us to meet people who've been doing nonviolent grassroots work on the ground for the last 2 decades in any way they could, working together with Rabbis for Peace, with the Al-Aqsa Mosque individuals to try to breach a way in which the Nakba could be turned into something different instead of the pain that has been caused. I, for myself, witnessed what people call apartheid. It was much like Jim Crow on steroids, if you were a Palestinian. I met people from Al-Aqsa Mosque. I saw that they were not free and able to have their regular comings and goings there. Many stories. I met Isa Amro, who had started in the South Hebron Hills, where he lives, the Youth Against Settlement Project, to do a nonviolent peacemaking work decades ago, and who has been attacked in his own home several times and nominated for the Peace Prize. I met Sam Bahur, who was actually from Youngstown, who went back to try to create a network for infrastructure for internet. And I learned of those difficulties. And I met individuals from Adamir and Children's for Palestine International. They are fighting for the rights. I'm now working with a project called Sabil, which was the host, it means the way, the host that took us around in West Bank, working with them to develop a branch here in North America, and working on a project that we developed to match Palestinians who've been taken from their home in the dead of the night with no charge and kept in places we don't know, detention centers, military encampments, not allowed a lawyer, not allowed visits from their family, tortured, treated for whatever, and to match them and their family member with people in North America who care. I know you care. I know you know the disaster that's there. I want you to know that Rabbis for Peace were working side by side with us at the border of Gaza to try to make, and they themselves had suffered from a situation in 23.
Reverend Penfield, it's 3 minutes, so if
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Thank you. So please remember your children, your families, and think of them as the children abroad when you make your vote or when you carry that vote. Thank you, Erin.
Emily Carson?
Hello, my name is Emily. I live at 623 Broad Boulevard in Cuyahoga Falls. This is my first time ever attending a council meeting of any sort, but I feel that what I'm here to talk about is something that not speaking on would just be unjust. For the past 2.5 years, I and many other people across the world and Ohio have been forced to bear witness to unimaginable crimes and cruelty as a campaign of destruction that harkens to the medieval principle of salting the earth after an army leaves. And I've gotten to watch that all from my cell phone in my home. Seeing the things that I have seen, I looked further into it. I learned that not only were these crimes not something new, but that the country that I lived in, the state that I lived in, and the county that I lived in all held financial stake in the nation that was committing these crimes. In fact, the very tactics utilized and perfected by the IDF against the Palestinian civilian population are now being deployed here at home. We're seeing that now in Minneapolis as a rogue federal agency tears through people protesting against their presence. People are being picked up and many are just not being heard from again. 3 peaceful protesters at least have been killed in the past several weeks, and countless others have been brutalized at the hands of poorly trained, racially motivated, and legally untethered stormtroopers. Seeing it does make me wonder how long it will be before they come to a town near you and me, and what will be done to protect us from such violence. This violence is a familiar sight for anyone familiar with the relationship our government holds with the Israeli government or the history of Palestine. Nobody wants to see the things that everybody has now seen, and nobody in civilized society wants anything to do with people who commit these crimes. No matter the political gain for any party or person, nor the actual return on the loans that I'm here to discuss, which aren't competitive in the market in any case, involvement with these sorts of people is immoral. We should not be investing funding in foreign countries that commit heinous violence. The funds from these bonds can be used to support things that we need here in Summit County. We have neighbors who go hungry, children who go to bed cold because the gas is too expensive. We have brothers and sisters who cannot afford an education, and we have mothers and fathers who are forced to sleep under a bridge because they can't afford the most modest apartment here in Summit County. Why should we use our funding for a genocide halfway across the planet when it's clear that our own community could use that funding and use it for improvement, not violence? It was already promised that the county would not continue to fund this. I'm just requesting that you please follow through. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Teresa Augustin.
Hi, Council. How are you today? I'm Teresa Augustine. I've lived in Summit County just about my whole life. I'm a small business owner, been a small business owner for the past 13 years. Have been the grateful recipient of scholarships and grants, and I'm here to request that we divest from investments in war bonds indefinitely as a county. I don't want my community to be powered by war and killing. I'd like to build the strength and grow as a community with means that do not include investing in war. Furthermore, I want my kid and the next generation to live in a world without war. Let's do the right thing for us now and in the future. Let's prohibit Summit County from investing in war bonds in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public statements. And did I miss it? Oh, I apologize. It's in my pile farther down. Kent Quaid? Too many papers.
Sorry for taking so long. My name is Kent Quaid. I live at 547 Auburndale Avenue in Akron. And I offer my thanks and gratitude to Summit County Council for following through thus far on its commitment not to reinvest in Israel bonds. In an era when our state and federal elected officials seldom act for any but their own benefit, and even more rarely with thought for the benefit or consequence for others, moments such as these should be recognized and celebrated. Council, and especially its representative on the county's Investment Advisory Board, have created two of those moments and are on the cusp of a third, setting a wonderful precedent of mindful investment and providing leadership for other counties in Ohio and across the country to do the same. For this, I applaud and thank you with all my heart. Hopefully, this mindful approach with consideration for global human consequence will serve as a model and guide for future investment and procurement expenditures. Thank you.
Before we adjourn, I would like a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters pursuant to ORC Section 121.22 G1.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Wilhite. All those in favor? Aye. Roll call vote. Sorry.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Ms. Hyam? Mr. Donofrio? Mr. Cajun? Mr. Dickinson? Miss?
It's all right.
Pardon me, Miss Dickinson.
My dad's not here.
Mr. Ford? Mr. Wilhite? Ms. Darrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lacotte?
Yes.
Ms. McKinney? Ms. Walters?
Thank you. Now, we'll need the audience to please leave chambers.